folks. Let's ride. Turn that down. I don't need YouTube getting in my shit about copyrights. Bullshit. You know. And my hair's atrocious today. I need a haircut. I usually get it cut about once every 6 or 8 months or something like that. I think next time I'm gonna go short. Not short, but you know, shorter than it is. Yeah. Wednesday, hump day. That must be Ashley, because I got a like. Yep. Hey, baby girl, what's happening? I can always tell it's you because I see a thumbs up and I see somebody on. And you're the only one that ever gives me a thumbs up. Well, I don't know. I got 2 thumbs ups yesterday. So that was rather neat. I think that guy from, where was he from? Kazakhstan? You're all ready for work, huh? Yeah, I'm just getting off work. I only worked 9 hours today. I think I'm going to work 9 tomorrow and probably 8 Friday, and that's going to be the week for me. That'll give me 40, let's see here, 46 hours, 45 hours, I think. I don't know. Let's see, it's Wednesday. I've missed 3 days of overtime, or 3 hours of overtime, so that would be 47. And then if I work, let's see, 46 or 45, be 44. I'll have 44 hours by Friday or something like that anyway. You know. How was my day? Well, not too bad. I had 2 trucks yesterday that were in my bay this morning that were done. I had some paperwork and stuff to do. The first part of my day was pretty slow, but the second part of my day didn't go too bad. We had an extended lunch today because we did our pre-Thanksgiving meal thing because some of the guys were going to be out of town, so they went ahead and did it today. So it's only a week early, but you know, that's how it goes. You now work Tuesday, Thursday, and you're off work 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Oh, you only work, wait a minute. You work now, Tuesday and Thursday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then you're off. You work 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. You don't work weekends? Or do you take weekends for yourself? I got every weekend off unless, of course, you know, we're kind of in a crunch and I have to work a weekend, and then I only work like Saturday for half a day. Generally, that's how it works out. Yeah. You're off Friday through Monday. Well, that's good. So you get a 4-day weekend every week. So in those 3 days, how many hours do you work? So if you work from what, 5 to 10, that's 5 hours a day. So you get 15 hours a week. That's not bad. I mean, for part-time, you know. Do you go in and work extra hours if they let you? Rock Lobster. I was listening to Rock Lobster by the B-52s, but I had to turn it off, you know, because the copyright bullshit, they don't like people using other people's music. You're allowed to use, like, for free use, you're allowed to use up to like 1 minute, I think it is, and then that falls under the free use category. But anything past a minute, they can nail you on the copyrights. Shit, I can go, I guess. Yep. Sorry, guys behind me. I know there was somebody waiting. So I got 2 people in here. I got 1 person saying nothing, and then I got my moderators. Well, alrighty then. So I got my line pretty full for tomorrow. They did something to the IT people came in and switched stuff around. Well, I guess they changed out the Wi-Fi or something on the computer system yesterday at my job. And so today, when I was getting all my shit together to work, my printers wouldn't work. I've got 4 printers that I use, and 2 of my printers work and 2 of my printers don't. So I went ahead and printed everything I needed, with 2 of those printers, but the other 2, hopefully I'll get them back online or fixed or something tomorrow, because I don't feel like sitting around half the day again tomorrow with nothing to do, but we'll see how that goes. And what a day. But anyway, we had what a place called Lee's Chicken today. Lee's Chicken's kind of like KFC, only they don't use the, 27 spices or whatever, herbs and spices. They use something that's really good. I don't know what it is, but I had some mac and cheese and some mashed taters, a couple of biscuits. I ate 3 pieces of chicken. I really shouldn't have, but I did because it was really good. Of course, you know me, I'm from the South. I like fried chicken. Yeah. What the hell I got going on over here? There we go. That's better. Yeah. So anyway, Ashley, you got stuff on your Amazon wish list for people to send you stuff for Christmas and stuff? Because you're going to need to put something on your list. And don't pick like the most expensive things either. You have a tendency to do that. I don't know what it is with you and expensive things. I guess you're just high maintenance maybe. I'm not sure. But put some stuff on there, because I got a electrical job to do Sunday. I'm going to be Christmas shopping. So I'm going to need you to put some stuff on you need to get you an Amazon account and then put some stuff on what they call the wish list. I'm sure Tommy would probably know how to do it, or whoever it is you're dating probably knows how to do it. But you're going to have to put stuff on there, either that or email me a few things that you'd like, send me the links or whatever. But I'm not going all out this year because I just can't, you know what I mean? I'm a girl who is expensive. With Trey again. Oh boy, I'm not, you know what, I like Trey into that, okay? We can talk about that another time. Anyway, I got 2 people watching. Signal went out. Oh, okay, sorry. That happens. My signal's going to go in and out because I'm on Interstate 70. You know how it is. I quit going the other way because it takes 10 minutes longer for me to go the other way and go home. And I like going home this time of day this way because there's not as much traffic. However, I do see a lot of traffic ahead of me this time. I don't know what the hell's going on. There might be a crash somewhere, but I don't have my radio on to see. My CB radio, I don't have it on. Speaking of CB radios, I need to go by the grocery store and get some milk. I don't know what milk has to do with CB radios, but I got to go by the store and get some milk on the way home, or I'm not going to have anything to drink tomorrow. I mean, I got orange juice and I take sodas and stuff like that, but I like to drink a cup of lunch. Yep. Anyway, so here I am, just, puttering right along, doing my thing, going home. Yep. Make tea is easy. You know, I quit drinking tea, Ashley. I mean, I had tea for lunch today, you know, but that's only because it was, you know, part of the meal or whatever. I quit drinking iced tea. I drink a cup of coffee every morning. I pretty much cut sugar out of my diet. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff that I eat that has sugar in it. You know, like snack cakes and shit. Like I eat breakfast cakes. Oh. I eat breakfast snack cakes in the morning for breakfast. Well, I have one a day for the day. I don't want to eat a lot of stuff the first thing in the morning, you know, I get tired. So I eat something called Nature's Bakery or Natural Bakery or something like that. They're kind of like Danishes. They have fruit filling in them. They're pretty good. They're better for you than like Pop-Tarts and shit like that, you know. You'll never stop drinking tea. You don't drink coffee anymore. Well, you know what you should do, honestly, is what I did. I mean, you can do what you want because you're a big girl. You can make that choice. But instead of drinking iced tea with, hold on a second. Instead of drinking iced tea with sugar, I use raw honey. Raw honey is actually good for you. There's a lot of benefits to it. So I put raw honey it sweetens just like sugar would, you know. I don't get heartburn and shit like that like I do with sugar. And I notice like when I go to restaurants and stuff, you know, and what do you mean, ew? Raw honey's great. When I go to restaurants and stuff, you know, I can always tell how much sugar they put in freaking sugar in the tea because I can taste it. I'm getting heartburn. Well, signal cut out again, wouldn't you know it? I know, it's probably because I went under an overpass, or like, you know, there's a valley out here too that I go through sometimes, and or every day when I ride this way, there's a valley, it goes downhill then uphill, so you probably lost me there. You're probably going to lose me here again in a minute, because I got the same kind of deal going on. But anyway, there's a lot of benefits to raw honey. It's good for you. Has a lot of health benefits, you know. Like I was saying, I eat these snack cakes, these Nature's Bakery or whatever it is for breakfast. But I only have one a day. And then I have a banana to go with that, you know, to get some potassium. But so you know, I can go like the restaurants and stuff. Like last night, I went to the restaurant, went to Bob Evans, and I had iced tea with my dinner. And I'm not real good with like greasy foods anymore. So when I eat greasy foods and I drink tea or anything that has sugar in it, my stomach, like, it wants to get mad at me, you know what I mean? Because it's not used to all that junk. See, I eat, most of the stuff I eat now is like on an organic diet, you know? It's supposed to be good for you. A lot of stuff, we don't have like all those freaking additives and shit in our food. You know, I mean, I'm sure there are additives and stuff in there, but like, it's not as bad. You know, organic food is not as bad. It's more expensive. You know, it's actually easier and cheaper to eat junk than it is to eat good food. You know, and it's amazing how that works when you eat good food. You know, your body feels better, your mind feels better. You don't get as, you know, crampy and tired. You know what I mean? Now, of course, I get tired, but that's just for me, you know, working the schedule that I work. Because I'm up early in the morning. And I usually don't go to bed till about 10:30, something like that. You know what I mean? You're number one. Yeah, I know. But I got 3 people watching. That's pretty good, you know. I wish people would, you know, engage a little more and, you know, ask questions or make comments or something. So I have, you know, for me to just sit here and blab my mouth, you know, without actually having something planned to talk about it, it's kind of difficult, you know, to keep the conversation going. But if people would take the time, you know, just to type hello or something like that, ask me questions. that fellow that was from Iraq yesterday, he seemed to be a pretty good fellow, you know, and he stayed engaged, and that's what I like. I like for people to stay engaged and ask questions and talk about their day and what's going on with them and where they're from and who they are and what they do. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of the reason I started doing this. I was looking yesterday, I was going through my videos, and you know, I've got like, I don't know, like 80 or 90 live videos, but I've noticed that, you know, I've got a lot of, you know, likes and a lot of views, but nobody's asking any questions. Nobody's commenting on anything that I say, you know. Now, like if I go to a concert and I record, you know, something from a concert and I post it, generally I get some pretty good feedback there. You know what I mean? People they're more likely to engage, especially if it's like a band that everybody likes. You know what I mean? Or, you know, like the older crowd, you know, for some of the older bands that I've seen here, you know, the past couple of years and stuff like that. I get pretty good engagement with my videos, you know, having to do with sports. If I go to hockey games or football games or whatever the case may be. Speaking of which, you know, hockey, the Blues are terrible this year. St. Louis Blues hockey team, yeah, they're terrible this year. They're like I think they've won like 6 games and lost like 11 or something like that. Yeah, they're horrible this year. But, you know, they use this excuse, you know, they're in a rebuilding, you know what I mean? Oh, we're in a rebuilding stage. Well, how long does it take to rebuild? You know, can you not spend the money and, you know, get some decent players, or is your you know, your salary cap that expensive? You know what I mean? It's amazing. This is what I got going on over here. Something going on over there. Not sure what it is. Woo. Somebody broke down on the side of the road, I guess. Anyway, this is the bridge I cross every day. Get it to go back around. This is Blanchette Bridge. It's on Interstate 70, and it goes from St. Charles County into St. Louis County in Missouri. Interstate 70. I'm going east right now on Interstate 70. Oh, let's see who we got in there. Somebody else that I made moderator. Jason, cousin Jason, what's happening? Not a whole lot, man. I'm just driving home. You know, I'm doing my regular Wednesday thing. Actually, I did a video yesterday because I didn't do one Monday. I really should start doing this like every day, but it's hard to do that, you know, when I don't really have a whole lot to talk about. So I thought what I might start doing is come up with some stuff. Oh, good rest of it. Okay, baby, I love you too. You have a good evening. But I've been thinking about like writing stuff down during the day, you know, shit I want to discuss or whatever. You know, like top 10s and favorites stuff, and you know, stuff like that. I might get some people to engage a little bit more, and actually take the time, like you guys, to talk to me, because that's why I do this. You know, I want to get other people's feedback and, you know, on thoughts that I have and things like that. You know, I don't want to just like spend my whole time, you know, trying to find something to talk about. You know what I mean? I can. I mean, I'm one of the best. I got a gift for gab, so it's not like I can't, you know, conversate or find things to talk about. It's just better when people engage. Free Palestine, huh? All right. Well, I don't know who you are, but hello anyway. Salido. You'll have to excuse me. I'm driving, so I can't really see that. But yeah, hello. Welcome to my channel. You know, I don't mind you coming on here and supporting your country if that's what you do, but you know, just don't get rude with anybody, please. Thank you. I appreciate that. And there's your shout out. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong or didn't get it right at all, but I am driving and I can't really take my eyes off the road to see. But I did see the Free Palestine thing. Okay, well, good enough. Anyway, but you know, it's really nice when people engage, you know, and ask questions and things like that. It really makes for better conversation, and it helps me, you know, with my audience as well. I have people that come in, you know, and they don't say anything. You know, I've got 10 or 12 people on here, nobody's talking about anything, and then when I go back later, you know, I can see the views, but I don't see people liking my material or talking to me. And it's, you know, it's kind of a bummer. I mean, I'm going to do this regardless, you know, of how people respond and things like that. I'm always going to do my videos, whether they're, you know, short videos or my half-hour videos that I do every day. But I just wish that, you know, like I said, I wish that people would engage more. I'm sure that people out there, you know, they want to know, you know, things like what got me into doing this, and, you know, where am I from originally, and, you know, what do I do for a living. I talked a lot about that yesterday. So you're waiting on your $2,000 check. Yeah, that makes two of us. I thought it was $2,500. Wasn't that what it started off as, Jason? Wasn't it $2,500? And I heard something about now that we're not going to get them till after the first of the year. You know, I wish they'd make up their mind. But, you know, Trump can't just sign something and, you know, and have money sent to people. It's got to go through Congress. You know, that's the Congress decides, you know, who spends what, how much, and when. Trump doesn't really have any control over that. All he can do is present the idea to Congress that, you know, we need to give the citizens or whatever money, whatever the case may be. A little chilly in my truck today. But yeah, you know, it started out as 2,500, and then I saw, I guess it was yesterday, maybe on one of those other networks. Yeah, because that's what pops up when I bring my computer up. You know, you heard 2,000, and then you heard like April after taxes. No, I think it'll be before that. I think it'll be it'll be after the first of the year, but it'll be before tax time, I'm sure. You know, and they're probably going to tax that money anyway. You know, that might be the reason it's only going to be 2,000, because you know, they're gonna tax that money like they always do. You got to pay taxes, which really sucks. You know, taxes are illegal anyway. According to the Constitution of the United States, we're not even supposed to be paying taxes. Taxes were, I don't know if how many of you know about American history, but like back during Prohibition, the biggest thing about Prohibition, you know, they quit people from making moonshine and running moonshine because people were doing that, what they were calling bootlegging, and they were taking alcohol, making alcohol, and they were running it in cars all across the, you know, the states that they lived in. And that's actually where NASCAR originated, was from a lot of these alcohol runners, you know, and bootleggers. Thyagosaurus. Hello, Brazil de Janeiro. Good to meet you, de Janeiro. I hear Brazil's a beautiful place. But anyway, we're talking about Prohibition in the United States back in the 20s, I believe it was, during the Roaring 20s. You know, people were making alcohol and they were selling it, but the government wasn't getting their cut of taxes. So they made alcohol illegal, right? So then they were arresting people, you know, that would make alcohol and run it. So that's where NASCAR came from originally, because, you know, they always use these souped up cars to do these alcohol runs and everything. And but basically they figured out, well, if we could figure out a way to regulate alcohol, then we can start taxing the shit out of it, and then, you know, they can make money off of it, and that's what they've done. You know, basically the same thing with marijuana. You know, a lot of states, marijuana is legal, even though if federally, the United States government, you know, hasn't passed a law that says you know, hasn't passed a bill yet that'll let you, you know, buy marijuana legally, you know, federally, but state and local, you can actually do it. And but it's just like everything else. The only reason they did it was for more tax money. You know, they don't think about the risks involved. You know, when you got people out here that are driving around in their freaking cars and they're stoned, or they're smoking while they're driving, you know what I mean? Because driving impaired is driving impaired. It doesn't matter whether you're drinking alcohol or whether you're smoking pot. You know what I mean? If you're out here and you're high behind the wheel, that makes you a threat to yourself and everybody else that's driving around you. And it really sucks that it has to be that way, but you know, you got some people that just don't use common sense, basically. But like I was saying, you know, they tax you on that shit. And this is what we got in a conversation yesterday about taxes and things like that, you know. And I was saying even yesterday that, you know, you make money every week out of your paycheck, right? And you have to pay taxes out of that. You have to pay Social Security, and if you're lucky enough to have a job that has, you know, benefits and insurance, you got to pay for that stuff. And then if what you have left, you got to put away for retirement, or at least a portion of it, right? So, and then, you know, like, they get you for gas tax, they get you for cigarette tax if you smoke cigarettes. I don't personally smoke cigarettes, and I don't think I'll ever will again, because that's like one of the nastiest habits in the world. Unless you're a drug user, then that's even nastier. But then they tax you for gasoline, they tax you for food. You have personal property tax, which is like your cars, automobiles, anything that's registered to the state. In some places they even tax you if you have a dog, which that's the craziest thing, you know, that they tax your animals, you know. Then you have your real estate tax, where you have to pay taxes on a house. And that's why a house is like one of your most probably one of your most expensive investments in life, because even if you're paying, you know, $225,000 for this house, they do an estimate every year on what your house is worth, and they charge you a portion of that for taxes. So they tax your house. So even after your house is paid for, your house is not paid for, you're still paying taxes on it. You know what I mean? So it really sucks that, you know, that happens that way. But, you know, they got to have theirs. They, you know, and but taxes, you know, that was what the whole Civil War thing was about, you know, here in America. You know, it was about taxation without representation. Now, a lot of people will try to tell you it's about slavery, but that's the biggest bullshit in the world. It had nothing to do with slavery at first. Slavery, unfortunately, did become a part of the Civil War at, you know, later date, but that's not why it originally started or what it was about. Nothing pisses me off more than paying property tax. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, you've got a car that you pay for. You know, if you're making $500 a month car payments, right? And then they want to tax you once a year on your car, and you're paying another $800 or $900 a year for that car, that you could be using that money to pay the damn thing off. You know what I mean? Now my house tax on my house is like $1,400 a year. So, you know, here I am paying $1,000 mortgage every month, you know, as I'm trying to pay my house off, but yet once a year I have to be set back $1,400 to pay my property tax. Now, lucky enough for me, I'm in a position to where my property taxes and insurance are paid along with my house payments, you know. But even still, I mean, my actual house payment from the finance company is actually only like $450. Everything other than that is, you know, property tax and insurance, and they're killing me on it. You know what I mean? So that's all that extra money I could be using Yeah, just like who just has money sitting around, right, to pay that shit. That's right, Jason. Nobody's got that kind of money these days, especially in the economy the way it is. The economy sucks. It has for the past, well, this all started back in 2008, believe it or not, was probably the last time that things were like really affordable. You know what I mean? And things just keep going up. Property value keeps going up. And then you got these kids, when they all look forward to, moving out on their own when they're 18 and getting jobs and this and that and the other thing. But everything is so expensive now that kids are having to move back home with their parents. It's really amazing that this is going on in America these days. All right, folks. Well, I'm at home. I know that there's 4 people watching me. I got one person talking. I don't know. Let's see. Theogosaurus. I guess that Hello Brazil took off. Let's see, who else have I got in here? Alessia Salcedo. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, especially foreign names. I mean, why can't everybody just be Jim or Bill, or you know what I mean? Why all these weird, strange names? It really never makes any sense to me. But I guess that's just, culture and areas of the world or something like that. But anyway, you guys take it easy. I'll be back probably Wednesday, or I'm sorry, today it's Wednesday though. What am I talking about? I'll be back Friday. Like I say, I'm usually here Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you'd like to stop in and see me around this same time of day on those days. Yeah, they're trolls, I know. But I guess they're looking for things to bitch about. You know what it is, Jason, is people, they hope that they come here and I'm talking about politics and religion and things like that. Anyway, I got a phone call coming in. I gotta go. Y'all take it easy. Anyway, all right. I got 2 people watching. I was gone. But anyway, you guys take it easy. I'll be back Friday around the same time. Have a good one.